I'll have fried rice or Chinese food, and I'll whip out the jar of kimchi.
All day, man.
Asian American or Chinese American, like, what is real?
So my answer to you is, it's whatever you want it to be.
That's the safe answer. Come on, Wilson. Not a politician.
Well, we're just doing things that will get people excited. You know why? Because there's just so much noise out there. You almost need to do something new to like get yourself at the top again. Because, you know, we talked about this earlier. How many restaurants are there in New York? So many, thousands and thousands. And how do you set yourself apart if you're not constantly innovating, creating something new, mix matching these like different like cuisines together? That's the only way to really survive when there's so much noise.
Lucky Boys Podcast.
You know, you got to make the best out of it. And I'm doing my best right now as the gatekeeper, or like as a person running the place. But you know, that's things like that. You can't stop it. You gotta like just roll with it and adapt to it. And I think we did a pretty good job. You know, like as a Chinese restaurant, the oldest Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, to be able to be worldwide, meaning, you know, we've had customers from all countries, to being this tourist destination, to even opening Namwas in China. Like that
What?
is.
You have a spot in China?
We have 2 locations in China, in Shenzhen. And think about that. Like, we're a American Chinese restaurant serving American Chinese dim sum back in a country where it was that it came from.
You're serving foreign food in China, and you're serving foreign food in America. That's
So, you know, I'm super proud of that, and we will continue to do things like that and evolve and
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that food. What is Chinese food, right? Because we come from immigrant families, so so every night for dinner we had what was considered to a lot of purists real Chinese food.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what is real Chinese food? Because to the majority of America, real Chinese food is popularized, Americanized Chinese food that you and I also grew up with.
Yep.
With the store down the block,
Mm-hmm.
or our family's restaurant, right? So being, whether it's from the immigrant background or being identifying as an Asian American or Chinese American, like, what is real?
So my answer to you is, it's whatever you want it to be.
That's the safe answer. Come on, Wilson. Not a politician.
Well, you know, it's you know, I'll use a dirty word, fusion, right?
Okay.
And and I don't like using that word, but it's progress. You know, it's basically, you know, we're in America. It's all kinds of ethnicities and, you know, all walks of life. So for me, you know, what is real Chinese food is, it can be anything. Like, I mean, I can do like beef and broccoli. Is that real Chinese food? Like, but it's real to me. Like, I grew up eating that.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
You know, like,
a lot of people grew up eating that. So did I.
Yeah. So like, to me, that's real. But like, to like a guy that's from Guangzhou that, you know, that works in the city, and like, that's not real Chinese food for him. He's like, what the hell is like beef and chicken with broccoli? What's a egg roll?
General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, so,
which I love, by the way.
Yeah,
I love General
I mean,
Tso's.
that stuff is
chicken wings with fried rice,
right?
All day over here.
Yeah, with the duck sauce. You know, like, that's not real Chinese food for like Chinese people from China. But we're in a world where, you know, technology. It's so technology driven that, you know, it's what you make of it is what I think. Honestly, like, I'm happy to have. So let's name a dish that's real Chinese food. Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. It's shrimp and mayo sauce with pecans. Is that real Chinese food?
I don't know. I think
It's served in the banquet, so I assume it's is part of that.
Well, I don't know if it's so like we can get very technical. Like, is mayo but mayo
That's true.
is more American than
Yeah.
Chinese, right? So that's a big like fusion of sorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, you know, I think about, you know, we were talking about like how we eat at home, and it's constantly it's a mashup of you know, like, you know, my wife is Chinese, our kids are Chinese, but like, you know, we'll make fried rice, but
Yeah.
like we'll have also like soy sauce chicken from like the
Right.
Chinese barbecue spot.
Exactly. So what's real Chinese food to our parents, to us, to our kids, I think will differ like vastly.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, I think at the end of the day, food is what brings people together. So, you know, we're talking about like, you know, if I eat at my parents' house or something, and like my mom's making a steamed fish, you know, like with the sizzling oil,
The
and
green onions, ginger.
so that's good, right? But like, I can bring like a big ziti to it also. Like, my wife makes a banging baked ziti.
Oh yeah, my wife makes an amazing
So-
lasagna. Shout out to the wives.
Yeah, shout out to the wives, and I mean, like, it at the end of the day, it's coming together to eat and spending time with each other, which is what restaurants are mainly for, right? Like, it brings people together.
miss that.
So, you know, I you said earlier, like, that's a safe answer, but it's so honest to me, you know, like, what is authentic Chinese food? Like, it's
So
whatever.
you're not
yeah.
a purist.
No, not far from it. Like, so I can tell you why I'm not a purist, is because Nam Hua Tea Parlor, dim sum restaurant, Cantonese style, our number one seller is a soup dumpling. And that's not Cantonese style.
not
That's
at
like
all.
Shanghainese,
Shanghai,
you know,
yeah.
but like, hey, you know, we've got what's the other thing? Shoot. We
Egg
have
rolls?
not egg rolls. We do have egg rolls, but the other thing is
Shilai.
the scallion pancake.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's not like purist Cantonese dim sum, right? But people love that, and I'm gonna sell the shit out of it because, like, hey, on a business side, if I can make these things and they sell, I'm gonna go with that because, you know what, the food cost is low. There's no seafood in it. It's just pork, or like, you know, in case of scallion pancakes, it's just
The
flour.
margins are great.
Yeah, margins are great. And I'm gonna throw the purist idea out the window. I'm for profit, you know, like, hey, you guys, if the American palate wants soup dumplings, yo, I'm gonna give you soup dumplings. Like, call me whatever the hell you want to
Give
call
the
me.
people what they
yeah,
want,
give the
damn
people
it.
what they want. So, you know, back to the question, the original question, like, you know, what does real Chinese food mean to me? Like, yo, it means like whatever the hell you want it to mean. And why can't you mix mapo tofu with dim sum and like with some other, you know, like tripe or whatever, you know, like.
So we have a mutual friend, Leland.
Leland, yeah.
And he started cooking, and when he was on the podcast, he was telling us how he mixes all sorts of cuisines, and it somehow, and that's his biggest challenge, is to figure out what cuisine from the different nationalities would fit into one meal, one sitting.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, we've talked about that too, and you know, this is mainly from his upbringing, like what he was exposed to, what he was cooking, what he likes to eat, what tastes good to him. And because he's Cantonese, right? He's Cantonese Chinese. He's got those familiar flavors, and how do you mix it together?
Yeah.
So that more ABCs like us can understand, right? And
That's American-born.
American-born Chinese,
So,
and I see that as a great idea. It's
Yeah, I
because
think
like
so too.
there's a lot of us, you know.
Because, you know, I was telling Leland same thing. Like, I'll have fried rice or Chinese food, and I'll whip out the jar of kimchi.
all day, man.
Right?
Kimchi fried rice.
Yo, last
You
night
know?
I just
Or
had.
even, I'll even steam rice. I'll throw some kimchi on it.
Yeah, speaking of kimchi, last night I was eating at, I got takeout from this restaurant called Golden Diner on Madison, you know, on the outskirts of Chinatown. That restaurant, Golden Diner, is run by a Korean American, Samuel Yu, who's a chef. And they did a collab last night with another friend from the restaurant Saigon Social, which is a Vietnamese restaurant from Chef Helen Nguyen. And so last night's mashup was she had this shrimp, fish cake, and tapioca noodle soup, like noodle soup with kimchi in it. And that was so bomb. like the like Vietnamese broth, how good, how rich it is.
So good.
Yeah.
But that kick of kimchi, mind blowing. And that collab was just last night, this past for Friday and Saturday night. I don't know if they're doing it again, but I have a picture of it on my Instagram for those who are on Instagram. But that was so good, like a Vietnamese bowl of pho, like not pho noodles, but like that broth with the noodles and the shrimp and the fish cake, and then bam, just a little bit of like kimchi. Like wow, game changer.
Yeah, that's why I'm all for mixing. As long as it fits and mixing the different cultures of food, and you could just, if you can marry it well, I think it'll get me excited. I think people get excited about trying it.
Hey man, don't take my word for it, but bridging cultures is where it's at for the next and for the immediate future.
The evolution of cuisine.
I don't disagree at all. However, I know that there are some
There are gonna be
purists are going to
balk at this idea.
they're going to listen to this like, I hate these guys.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Purists, yeah, I respect that all day, but I think they're going to be outnumbered.
I think so. I mean, look at all the food trucks. A lot of the food trucks was a big mix. Corilla, right? They had
Yumpling. Yumpling is a big one.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's
Corilla was Korean and Mexican, right?
Korean and Mexican, and it was the bomb. It was like the first time I had something like that. It was just these new flavors that I was experiencing from these food trucks.
Yeah,
this mix match, and I'm just like, oh my gosh! And they did it well.
Yeah,
right.
It's a good product. I've had it before. Yeah.
And then, you're just like, okay, then it becomes like its own category. You don't look at it like it's Korean / Mexican or whatever you're tasting. It becomes so normalized where you go, this is whatever that is.
I'm telling you,
that's why with
cultures,
Chinese food, I don't disagree with you, even though it is the same answer. Not the answer that I expected, though. I thought you would have hit me with the purist stuff because considering, you have the oldest standing dim sum restaurant in Chinatown.
But the other topic we talked about is about adapting, right? And if you don't adapt, you're going to get left behind. And I think as an entrepreneur and like a restaurateur, you have to see what the people want. I was throughout the whole podcast, I'm telling you like, yo man, I don't think this will work. It's too expensive. But I'm listening, and my team is telling me, yo, we should go this direction. I'm like, yo, let's try. If it doesn't work, all good. But if it works, wow. Another avenue for making money, staying relevant. Even like we're just doing things that will get people exciting. You know why? Because there's just so much noise out there. You almost need to do something new to like get yourself at the top again. Because we talked about this earlier. How many restaurants are there in New York? So many, thousands and thousands. And how do you set yourself apart if you're not constantly innovating, creating something new, mix matching these like different like cuisines together? That's the only way to really survive when there's so much noise.